Thanks for tuning in to the Urban School Podcast. I'm back with another episode. I read an article on Hip Hop DX, one of my favorite hip hop platforms to read about new hip hop news, and they discussed a very important issue or a very important aspect of hip hop, and that's in regards to producer and rapper duos. So on the surface, when you hear a song, most people don't think about the producer. They don't think about the chemistry between the producer and that artist, specifically in hip hop. Um, but even not even outside of hip hop, you have a Antonoff that works with Taylor Swift, and that importance of the producer artist relationship. But in hip hop, it's more emphasized more as of recent, mostly because of the taglines that artists have. Like everyone knows about the DJ Mustard tagline, where the mustard is out there, mustard is yelling. That Kendrick Lamar put on his GNX album on the last one, TV Off. About Metro Boomin. Uh, all these different producers have different sounds and taglines that it's them. And back in the day, you didn't really have that as much. If you knew the sounds enough that you would know who it is, like samples and things like that, you would know it was Kanye and just the beat patterns and, just the nerdy stuff about hip hop. That's the only way you would know the producer combination. Back when they had CDs, I would look through the booklets and see who the producer, who the writer was for songs. If it was like R&B, mostly hip hop is not really shown as much. It's frowned upon, I guess. But the producer is very important in hip hop. The producer and the artist, they feed off one another. So the producer brings out the best in the artist, and the artist brings out the best in the producer. Because if a producer can make the best production, the artist puts the best lyrics behind it, they make it this amazing song. It's rare that you can have, lighter production and have these fantastic lyrics. If the production is not as good, the average fan is not going to gravitate towards the song. It's not going to get good radio play if it even makes it to the radio. So these producers are very vital behind the scenes in creating this perfect art form, which is hip hop. So when you think about going all the way back to Eric B and Rakim's relationship, all the way to Kendrick Lamar and DJ Mustard's relationship, hip hop has always relied on the producer. The producer has always been vital behind the scenes and up front. Now it's more importantly, Metro Boomin's rise with Future has been highlighted a lot in the forefront as they released albums together. Like I said, I've talked about DJ Mustard and Kendrick Lamar's relationship as far as producer rapper duo. But then you have those duos that are legendary, like your Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, your Eminem and Dr. Dre, 50 Cent and Dr. Dre. Pretty much anybody with Dr. Dre, NWA and Dr. Dre, anybody with that combination from Dr. Dre is going to give you good producer rapper relationships. So even dating back to those legendary hip hop producer rap combos, such as a Will Smith and a DJ Jazzy Jeff, those guys did movies together, well, TV shows together, and they did albums together. And they were even supposed to do a movie together. Most people didn't know House Party from the 1990 version of the House Party, not the LeBron one. The 1990s version of House Party originally was supposed to be DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith, but for some reason it didn't work out. It didn't, Kid and Play, the rappers ended up taking that role and expanding out the franchise, which was a very good fit. I'm not sure how the Will Smith DJ Jazzy Jeff duo would have worked out, but seeing that Jazzy Jeff was a DJ and then Martin Lawrence character played a DJ, it made sense. But I don't know, it might not have been the same if they would have done it, just because of the content that was on on those movies. But nevertheless, that relationship between DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith today still exists, and they still are friends and have a great working relationship as a result of that. It goes back all the way to when they were just starting off before Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when they played on the same TV show together, which is one of the strongest duos, I think, as far as rapper producer combos, or duos, I should say. In influentially, Pete Rock and CL Smooth did something special when with the production from Troy, which is an acronym for They Reminisce Over You. They Reminisce Over You is a dedication song a memorial song for one of their friends, Trouble T-Roy, who died, unfortunately, at the early age of, I think he was around 22. And around that time, they used to go on tour and stuff, and an unfortunate accident happened and he passed away. But Pete Rock, paid homage to his friend, and one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time, in my opinion, just because of the historical reference around it, the emotion behind it, and how much it meant to Pete Rock. I remember Lupe Fiasco sampled the song later, and Pete Rock was upset about it because he made that song specifically for his fallen friend. And even though Lupe did good use of the song, he still had a problem with it. I think they worked those problems out, but nevertheless, it just shows you how much that song meant to Pete Rock and how much Trouble T-Roy meant to Pete Rock as well. But when you think about that producer rapper relationship, 40 and Drake are two names that come to mind that are always attached to each other. Seems like 40 exclusively works with Drake. I think he's worked with other people, but for the most part, he works with Drake. And that relationship has come a long way from, his solo debut all the way to now. But the producer's role is that coaching from the skybox piece, like seeing things that you didn't see when you're in a booth, and vice versa. Sometimes an artist will come to a producer and say, hey, can you add a drum here? Can you lower the sound on this? It's different things that they do. And so does the engineer. The engineer is very important as well, in creating that crisp sound that you hear on the radio or you hear through your speakers, whether it be Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, or whatever. They create this unique sound, and it's like I always talk about that marriage. It's needed. You need the producer, you need the engineer, you need the artist, you need executives, and all these different pieces to come together to feed you these lines and to help with the sound, because it takes a village not only to raise a child, but it takes a village to make a record and to make an album. Definitely. So that producer rapper combo is very important, and I thought it was a very good article that Hip Hop DX put out. Most people don't realize, or the average fan doesn't, don't realize the importance of a Kanye West early in Jay-Z's career, being behind the scenes before they let Kanye West get into the scene and be a rapper. He was making beats on Blueprint for Jay-Z, and being so humble back then, and being so influential behind the scenes, that led to Jay-Z's ascension. And ultimately, he's still doing it to this day, not as frequently because Jay-Z has also these different business ventures, and it's not as heavily involved into hip hop as he used to be. But that importance of Kanye West early on is very important, and it's mostly underrated, I believe. It's not talked about a lot unless you do your homework and look at the documentaries and things like that. But nevertheless, very good article from Hip Hop DX. The importance of producers should always be highlighted. And thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. And until next time, I'll see you next time.